Hello everyone, I hope you're well and getting things done. My name is Olabi Ayo and I'm a final year medical student in Kharkiv National Medical University in Kharkov, Ukraine. And today I'll be talking about how to prepare for your medical licensing exam in Ukraine, which is the krok exam. I'll be talking about 3 tips on how to prepare for it and ace your exam. So let's get right into it. So the first tip is getting the materials. And I need you to understand, for every exam you have to write, you have to get the materials for the exam, because the materials give you an idea of the kind of questions you're going to see there and also the subjects that are covered in that exam. So for example, in contrast to the medical license exam in the United States, which is termed the USMLE, the question they actually comprise of like sound-based question, image-based question. So in the krok exam, in contrast to that, we don't have any sound-based question or image-based question. We just have like questions that are just multiple choice. So you just choose your option from the question, and that's all with that. So getting the questions gives you a general idea of this. So it makes you know about the subjects that are covered. For example, we have the anatomy, physiology, biology, biochemistry, microbiology. We also have pathology and pharmacology. And some other exams might require more subjects than that, or maybe lesser. So it gives you a general idea of the type of questions that are going to be found in the exam and the subjects that are covered in. The second tip I'm going to be talking about is reading and understanding. So of course, reading and understanding, yeah. So reading and understanding is a very important part, and to get the hang of this, you need to understand the type of learner that you are. So some people are visual learners, so this means that they prefer reading and seeing what they are reading. So they use things like YouTube, they use things like Khan Academy. While some people are individual learners as well. So individual learners are people that prefer learning on their own. So they stay in their house, like in front of their table, and study for hours. And so people are social learners, and social learners are learners that always require like to be in a group with friends and study, or also using tutorials. And I'll tell you that despite any type of learner you are, a tutorial is going to be very helpful for your krok exam. And I'll be telling you the tutorial that I created to help krok 1 students, and that is termed the oedema tutorial. And what is oedema about? Oedema was a tutorial that was created by me and some of my colleagues, and it was to help students in the preclinical years with their krok exam. And we have a Telegram page and we have an Instagram page, and in the Telegram page we post questions there, and that's a form of like helping students with seeing questions, and also they can also comment under the question the things that they don't understand, and we're going to help them. And on the Instagram page we post daily questions in the week, like Monday to Friday, and that is a way to test your general knowledge of your basic preclinical medicine. So why is edema very helpful? We've actually had students that got a very high mark in the exam, and also we teach not just to cram the information, but to have a general understanding, to know the information in details and in depth. And we are not just limiting it to the krok, like just to teach you what this is. We teach you the reason why things work. And I'll tell you, tutorials are very important because tutorials help you reduce your study time. And that extra 1 hour or extra 2 hours or 30 minutes is very important. I tell you, especially when you're in medical school and you have a lot of things to do. So the third tip I'll be talking about is remembering. And I know it sounds very cliche, remembering, who even thinks about that? But I tell you, this is the most important. I think it's actually the most important part, aside your reading and understanding, of course. It's the most important part, because someone that pulls out an all-nighter and another person that did not study for an exam, like someone that pulls out an all-nighter and doesn't remember anything, and someone that did not study for an exam at the same actually. And what does that mean? It means both of them do not have an answer to the question that is right in front of them. And honestly, you do not want to be in that situation. I'm telling you from an experience. It's very terrible. So how do you remember? The cure for forgetfulness, or the way to remember, is actually by two methods. I'll say number one is reciting, and number two is practice testing. So these are a form of active studying or active learning. So how do you recite? So let's say I'm studying about the like something like, let's say in biochemistry or maybe microbiology. So let's say I study about staphylococcus, for example. So I study for, let's say, 30 minutes. Then when I'm done studying, I close my book, then try to remember or recall as many information as I can. So I begin to write every detail I can remember till I can't remember anything. And with this, it's trying to make me pull from my brain rather than just like reading. So that's a form of active recall. And the second one is practice testing. I know this might be not be general student mindset to always practice questions, but I need you to understand the way our brain remembers actually. We remember more by pulling from our brain rather than putting in. So the way you remember actually is by pulling, like I mentioned, rather than putting in. Because when you put in is to learn, but the way you remember is actually by pulling. And it's really sad that the only time we pull generally is when we are in an exam hall, and that might not be able to remember anything. So how do we implement this? We take the questions like I mentioned, like E neutron, shakes, and also test krok. We take like a year and practice those years. Try to go through them, and the more times we practice, the more our forgetting curve is being pushed. So we remember for a longer period of time. So make sure you practice. This is actually one of the most important parts because it's a form of active learning. Make sure you practice and make sure to also try to recite what you've learned. Thanks for watching. It's really glad to have you here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share it to someone that you know would need this video. And if you have any questions, you can write in the comments. I'm going to send you a reply. I'll reply to your questions. And if you want to send me a message privately, my Instagram will be somewhere around. Also, if you're interested in joining oedema tutorials, the link to the page, the Instagram and the Telegram will be somewhere around here. So make sure to click on it. And thanks for coming. I wish you a productive day ahead and keep being amazing. God bless you. Goodbye.